In the northeast corner of France, south of Strasbourg and nestled between the Rhine River and the Vosges Mountains, is the Alsace district, one of the bike-friendliest regions in Europe. For two-wheeled travelers, the winding streets and a network of bike-friendly back roads are welcome routes for cyclists of all ages. One of our favorite rides from the Alsace wine route connects Barr to Kintzheim. It winds along lower foothills of the Vosges Mountains and passes through many picturesque villages, including Dombasle-la-Ville. The picturesque town of Barr, 8 kilometers south of Obernai, is the wine capital of Alsace. Many of its 7,000 citizens came to prosperity through the cultivation of grapes for wine. Barr is home to the oldest Alsace wine fair, held every July and dating back over 100 years. The former castle wall is still recognizable on Rue de Boucher. The Hôtel de Ville, built on the remains of the medieval castle, forms the center of the city. To the left is a small balcony where officials from Strasbourg would read news from the capital. Opposite the town hall is the hotel and restaurant Auberge de Bourget. It is the oldest tavern in Barr and was serving meals in 1514. During the French Revolution, members of the Revolutionary Court lived here. Along the Grande Rue, the half-timbered houses exist as they did centuries ago. Among the old half-timber buildings are museums, bakeries with local specialties, windows decorated with symbols of the wine culture, and replicas of the region's symbolic bird, the stork. At the Café Oster on Rue de Collage, one can experience Alsatian gâteaux and cakes. Barr has also been honored as a 3-star Ville Fleurie. To receive this award, a departmental jury gathers the candidates from French towns and selects those which can be awarded. Then a regional jury visits the candidate municipalities to award them 1, 2, or 3 flowers. This event occurs every 2 to 3 years. We departed from our hotel, the Auberge de Bourget, and wind our way along the cobbled Grande Rue. In only 1.5 kilometers, we're riding through the vineyards leading to Mittelbergheim, a member of the Les Plus Beaux Villages de France, a distinction given to small villages with rich cultural heritage. It is here that we spotted our first cigogne, or storks, nesting high above the town on a rooftop. From Mittelbergheim, our route continues through the vineyards, climbing gently on a quiet road along the Vosges foothills, then downhill on the D62 to the town of Andlo. Here we are treated with a seemingly endless network of vineyards. After a few minutes downhill, we breeze into Andlo and along a cobbled street that turns uphill past some classic Alsatian half-timbered buildings, and keeping in mind that we are sharing the narrow streets with motorists following their wine road. Our next stretch takes us on the D253 highway through the small villages of Itterswiller, then Bleinswiller, then into the larger village of Dombasle-la-Ville. The exit from Andlo is much smoother than the cobbled entrance, making the uphill climb out of town much easier. Then the D253 gives us our first serious climb of the day, a steady 3% rise above the Andlo Valley. This statue of a happy monk carrying a wine barrel watches over the quiet village. We found this stop a good place to rest our legs and hydrate. Rested, we continue through the vineyards on a small service road into the next town, Idisviller. On the horizon is a beautiful view of the Vosges Mountains. At 280 meters, this is the crest of the ride. In a few kilometers, the D35 road leads us around the next village, Nordalten. The route bypasses the main road through town. Next we climb the Route Romaine, an ancient Roman road, first built by the Romans who discovered these hills to cultivate their own wines. This leads us directly back to the D35, the official Route de Vannes, which goes through another scenic Alsatian town, Blinchwiller, with its streets lined with half-timbered buildings. In 2 kilometers, we enter Dombach-la-Vie through the Blinchwiller Gate, which dates back to the 14th century and was built on the site of an old wooden fence. Within these walls is one of the best displays of half-timbered buildings in the region. Founded in the 11th century, Dombach-la-Vie became a fortified episcopal city in the 14th century. In the narrow alleyways are buildings from all periods, houses with wooden sections of the Middle Ages, stone Renaissance buildings from the War of the Peasants, houses of the 17th century rebuilt after the 30-Year War, big cellars representing flourishing viticulture of the 18th century. The route proceeds from Dombach to Diefenthal, Schervillard, Châtenois, and Kintzheim, ending in Cigoland Park. We exit Dombach through the Tour de Diefenthal, which heads south along the old city wall into the vineyards. Then we wind through tiny Diefenthal and coast downhill for 3 kilometers with vineyards as far as the eye can see. Schervillard is a particularly beautiful little village with a small river running through it that we cross upon entering. In nearby hills are the ruins of 2 chateaux, the Ramstein and the Ortenborg. The road between Schervillard and Châtenois is quiet and level. The Vosges Mountains are visible to the west. The origins of Châtenois go back to the time of the Celts, then became property of the Bishop of Strasbourg in the 13th century. Largely destroyed by a fire in the 19th century, Châtenois is now immersed in the wine trade of Alsace. With Kintzheim in the distance, the Rue d'Alsace continues along the foothills between vineyards and orchards. We skirt the town of Kintzheim and follow a cycle track that goes in the direction of Sélestat. From Kintzheim to Cigoland, we are treated to a piste cyclable, a bicycles-only path that weaves through the countryside, and then continues beside the highway towards Sélestat. Our destination is a trio of nature parks and the Chateau Haute Konigsberg, and a hotel that will be our base for a trip to these attractions. Next to the path, we spotted a stork, a resident of the Parc de Cigoland, that posed for our cameras. Our hotel is adjacent to Cigoland, named for the storks that occupy the park. It specializes in attractions that appeal to children to encourage an interest in ecology and bird life. On the mountain behind Cigoland, there are 3 more attractions. The Haute Königsborg Castle at the very top of the mountain was originally built in 1147 and was fully restored in the 1900s. Here you will see a very clear picture of life in a medieval castle. The ruins of another chateau on the mountain, the Kintzheim Castle, is now home to the Voliere des Aigles, or Eagle Park. This is the first park of its kind in France devoted to these elegant birds. Here visitors witness the largest birds of prey in the world in free flight demonstrations. Not far away is Monkey Mountain, a 60-acre forest that is home to more than 200 Barbary macaques. Roaming free in a park with conditions in captivity that mirror the life they would lead in the wild. Visitors are given popcorn, which the monkeys are happy to take out of their hands.